this is Shaheedah Hill, getting you over the hill to home ownership, helping you confidently buy your first home. I'm very excited to bring you 3 of my clients that have closed in 2020. And I wanted them to come on. They all bought new construction. I'm going to do another video with resale as well, but they all did new construction, and I wanted them to share some of the things they learned in the process. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. First, we're going to do Nicole, and when they close, then Brittany and Daryl, and then Christian.
Hi, I'm Nicole, and I just closed November 23rd of 2020.
I'm Daryl.
I'm Brittany.
Speak up a little bit. I hear Brittany well. I don't hear Daryl well.
We were supposed to close on November 23rd, but we end up closing on November 25th.
Okay, very good. And
Hi.
Christian?
Hello, everyone. My name is Christian. I closed on October the 7th.
Okay, congratulations. Okay, so our first question, we're gonna ask them 3 questions. How does it feel to own your own home? And we're gonna start with Nicole. How does it feel?
It's exciting, it's fun. It feels, of course, like home. Something that I've always wanted to do was own my own home. It was a journey to get here, but I'm here and I'm loving it so far.
Okay, great. Brittany and Daryl?
Let you go.
Let's say it's pretty amazing. I think because of our backgrounds, I won't go into that long story. This is just a solid place that we can call home. And I think that's probably the best part.
Really the first place we can call home. So it's very exciting. You know, there's a bit of anticipation of what could come up, but you know, we're happy overall. We're happy.
Okay, good. And Christian?
All right, for us, Shaheedah knows it was a long process, but everything happened so fast at the same time. However, it's just me, my wife, and our dog. We feel very excited the day that we closed. And then right now, it's a sense of achievement. You know, we're young, and then I don't know. It's been a little bit hard for us, you know, to make this place feel like home because it's so big. It's a 2.5, and it's just me, my wife, and our dog. You know, half of the house is empty from an apartment. And then since we're so young, like sometimes it's hard to believe that it's our place, that we get to own it, and we get to do with it whatever we want. So yeah, it's a little bit overwhelming, but we're very, very happy. Definitely very happy.
Very good. All right, so now we're gonna get into biggest lessons learned, because I know for Nicole and Christian, y'all built from nothing. So it was just nothing when you guys started. And I know Brittany and Daryl, y'all had, you know, it's kind of already built, but it was still new construction. So in the same order, what are your biggest lessons that you learned?
For me, I would say all of it was a lesson because this was my very first time, obviously, but just in talking to other homeowners, some of the things like with my parents, for example, some of the things they did not do was shop for a lender to get your best interest rate instead of just going with maybe the first person that you reached out to get your pre-approval. I shopped around, and then I also learned too that how you can like buy down your interest rate, buy points to buy down your interest rate. So I would say the biggest thing, was shopping for a lender to get the best interest rate and being able to buy down your interest rate.
Good. Brittany and Daryl?
Yes, we actually learned a lot from watching your videos on YouTube. So that's kind of what helped us to be very organized. I would say the same thing, piggybacking on Nicole. We had 3 different lenders that we searched, and we ended up getting the best deal from the builder's lender. So that worked out pretty good for us. And I would say the next thing is, no matter how organized you are, the builder has an agent.
Christian can speak to that.
How the builders people handle their side of business really can affect, you know, how smooth your transition and your transaction goes.
Yes, I would say make sure that if you are working with the builder sales agent, pay attention to the signs from when you before you sign a contract, pay attention to all the signs. You know, are they there on time? You know, are they available to answer your questions? Are they, you know, getting back to you promptly or in a timely manner? Pay attention to those things before you sign a contract with that particular agent or request another.
Good, very good point. Christian?
Right. I learned a few things, actually a lot of things. So first of all, I learned that, you know, you could be ready to, and I'm talking about to the other YouTube videos, you could be ready to buy a house and not knowing it. I didn't know I was ready. We didn't know we were ready. Like, it was so fast at the beginning. We wanted to move and rent another house because we were not happy where we were living. And then we're like, why don't we try and see if we're ready? Like, we found out we were at the moment. A lot of people are, and they don't know. A lot of people are not ready, but they can start getting ready for it, definitely. It's a process and it can be done. So that's the first lesson that I learned, that you could be ready and you don't know it. The second is that new construction is always an option. A lot of people don't think about it when they are thinking about buying a house. They just think about resale, and the new construction doesn't cross their mind. It didn't for us. And when I told people that I was buying a new house, a new construction, they're like, oh, it's actually a new house, that people were impressed. So that led me to believe that a lot of people don't consider new construction in the first place. And secondly, I learned that new construction has perks. One of those perks is that the house, you know, it's a hit or miss, obviously, because if you're buying in a subdivision like I did, it could turn out to be a very good subdivision with good neighbors, or, you know, could be bad, but for the most part, it's going to be okay. And then your house can appraise very quickly. So that happened to us when we signed our contract, like 4 or 5 months before the closing. And then when the appraisal came before the closing, it was way more than what we signed for. So that was another lesson. And finally, that we have to be on top of our lender. You know, our agent can do so much, the builder can do so much, and the lender, like the Ames couple mentioned, you know, sometimes you can be very organized, but the lender cannot be. So if you're on top of them, things are going to happen. If you're not, sadly, you can experience delays and problems. So it's your house. It's probably the biggest purchase you're going to make in your whole life. So you have to be on top of it. So those were the lessons I learned.
Okay. And I guess this last question is kind of similar. And so I'll let y'all add anything else you want to add, but what's your best advice? So for somebody who's kind of thinking, you know, I want to buy a house, I'm not sure what I want to do. Like, what's your best advice for them if they're just considering it and considering doing it for 2021? And with everything going on, the pandemic, and maybe, you know, people income, what's your best advice going into the new year for them?
I would say it is kind of similar to like what you learned, like the things that we all collectively have learned would probably be the advice that I would give. For me, I'm just gonna be honest, my process to me was smooth. It was smooth sailing. I didn't have any hiccups. I had a fantastic realtor. I had a fantastic lender. The builder, to me, I haven't had any issues. I mean, so I would just say, get a lender, shop for your rates and your lenders, try to be as prepared as possible. To Christian's point, stay on top of your lenders if that may be an issue for you. And I don't know, just go for it. For those of you who are not homeowners, just go for it, because you may be ready to buy and you just don't know it.
Good. Brittany and Daryl?
I would say with everything that's going on, what we did was we bought this house based off of one income. So, you know, you don't want to be anywhere close to your max, you know. So we purchased more than $100,000 under what we were offered. And that was a certain realm of comfort to live here and to make upgrades and do whatever else you do post-purchase. But more than that, I would say make sure you have a good grasp of your debt to income ratio, because that's really what determines how much the lenders are going to allow you to borrow. And that's really what determines what type of house you can be qualified for. Make sure your credit is straight beforehand, you know, as high as possible. And you can manipulate your credit scores by paying down your utilization rate on your credit cards and just different things that we've learned along the way over the last 5 years to prepare for this day. And to actually sit here and enjoy it, you know, it's amazing. It really feels good. And the happiness on my wife's face, you know, she's in the kitchen singing, you know, the girls are all happy. They have their own bedrooms, you know, this is amazing. You know, like I grew up in Section 8 housing, you know, my mom had 3 sons, you know, and my parents' relationship was not that good. You know, we come from the bottom. We've been married 11 years and, you know, she stuck with me and here we are, you know, it feels good.
Yeah, I would add just a little bit to that about, this is probably previously answered as well. Just make sure you do your research beforehand. I mean, not just paying attention to what the housing market is doing currently, but also look for historical trends. I mean, it may not be that deep for some people, and that's how we like to do things. Do your research. Make sure, like Daryl said, make sure your credit is on par. Make sure that you have done all of your research, I mean, in the different areas.
Because to Christian's point, by the time you close, you could have an insane amount of equity in your house.
Yeah.
All right, Christian.
All right, so my first advice will be, Shaheedah has an amazing channel on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to it first and then watch all the videos. She has explained everything from A to Z, everything. She's done it multiple times on multiple videos. She has invited people over. If you go and watch her videos, you can prepare yourself ahead of time. So that's gonna be my first advice. And just like Shaheedah, there's other channels. Shaheedah to me was the best one because she's just so thorough in everything that she does. She didn't pay me, but she knows I'm a great fan. So that's number one. And number two, take a look at your credit. There's a lot of apps. You don't have to hire anyone. You can start by taking a look at your credit and preparing in advance. If you want to buy in 2021, right now is the time to start. Don't start a month before. It's not going to work. You need more time. So start now. Maybe you're ready, but maybe you're not. So if you start in advance, you can start preparing for it in advance. And then the third advice, sometimes the lenders, they want to get you and your spouse, if you're doing it with someone else, and the loan, sometimes both people don't need to be in there, and that we learned halfway. So thank God we did, and then I took my wife out of the loan. That's gonna give you space if you wanna buy another property in the future to buy it with your wife's income instead of yours if you're doing a credit, if you're not buying cash. That was our situation. So we didn't know that, and then in the middle, we found out. Even Shaheedah told me, probably your wife doesn't need to be in the loan, and we were able to remove it. So that's my third advice, and I think that's it.
Okay, I think that's good. And I would say for everybody here, everybody did less than what they qualify for, and for the person's on the loan, the other person wasn't on the loan. So they do have that opportunity in the future to get a property that they wanted to, or just have that flexibility to know if their income was to decrease, they'll still be fine to pay that mortgage. So I think that's a really, good thing to do. I really appreciate it. Does anybody want to say anything else?
Yes, I do. If there's any way that people can maybe figure out how to clone you, go for it.
I agree.
Okay. Yes. All right. I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much. Y'all look beautiful, by the way, everybody. Y'all look good in your houses.
Thank you.
All right. I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everything. Enjoy your first holiday in your new home.
Thanks.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Congratulations to you all as well.
As well. Thank you.